Hi, I'm Brad Wild from the Go Wild team at RE/MAX. So the April numbers are in, and this is what's going on in the Guelph real estate market. If we look at the number of sales we had this month, there were 224 sales. Now that's down 19% from the 277 sales that we saw in last April. However, on the positive side, it is up 24% from last March, so a pretty big increase in the number of sales month over month, which is good. Now, looking at the number of active listings, right now we've got 341 active listings on the market in Guelph, and that is up substantially. It's up 79% from the 191 that we had this time last year. It is also up 10% from the amount that we had in March, so we're still continuing to build inventory. Now, that is common for us to do that throughout the spring months, so it'll be interesting to see what May numbers produce. Now, looking at the number of new listings to hit the market, there are 316 new listings that hit the market in the month of April. And that's up 19% from the 266 listings that we saw last April. So we are seeing more people throw their houses on the market now. And I think it's a combination of a bit more consumer confidence in the market, as well as the warm weather that we had in the second half of April. Finally, people were able to go out and get their yards ready and everything like that to get their houses on the market. Now, looking at the average sale price in Guelph, we had an average sale price of $513,000. Now, that is down 8% from the $557,000 that we had last April, but we are up 1.5% from March. So month over month, we are continuing to go up, which is great. Now, looking at our detached houses for average sale price, theirs was $588,000, and that's down again 8% from April of last year, and it's up about $4,000 from March. So again, a positive direction for that as well, month over month. Now, looking at attached houses, they had an average sale price of $436,000, so that is still down 5% from $457,000 that we saw last year. And then condo apartments remained relatively flat with an average sale price of $332,000, which is just $1,000 less than what we had last April. Now, when we're looking at these numbers, there's a few things to take into consideration. One, we are still having a higher volume of lower priced houses sell this year than we had last year, which is pulling down our averages. And then also, right now we're comparing with our peak numbers of last year. April was where our market peaked, and then stuff started to change from then. And I think when we start to look at our May numbers year over year and our June numbers year over year, the gap and the difference between the average sale prices is going to start to narrow. And my prediction is that by the end of the summer, we're actually going to be on the positive side, and our average sale prices are going to be higher than where they were in last September. Now, looking at the houses that are selling right now, they're selling on average for 99.3% of asking. So very close to full asking, so that's really good. Now, looking at the houses that are selling, 32% of them are actually selling over asking and going to multiple offers. And then if you dive into more detail on those properties, 90% of those houses that are selling over asking are listed under $600,000. So that really shows the difference between the two price points. When you go under that 600, it's a lot more active than when you're over that price point. Looking at months of inventory right now, we've got 1.52 months of inventory on the market. So, and that is down. It's continuing to drop month over month, which is showing that we are going into a stronger market. Anything under 5 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. So right now we are in a really good market. But you have to look at months of inventory from an actual price point, because it does vary quite dramatically in different price points right now. So in the city of Guelph, I'm going to pull up a chart here, and you'll actually see, so anything right now listed under $600,000 is in a really hot market. We've got anywhere from half a month to 1.5 months of inventory, so really strong seller's market. Then all of a sudden, when you go between $600,000 and $800,000, our market dramatically changes. We go up to 4 months of inventory on the market. So it is still a seller's market, but much closer to a balanced market. And then between $800,000 and $900,000 in April, it performed really, really well. There's only 1 month of inventory, so actually a very active price point. And then when you go between 900 and $1 million, there's 16 months of inventory on the market. So what that means is that that price point right now is very saturated. You ideally do not want to be selling your house in that price point because there's a lot of selection for buyers to pick from. And then when you go over $1 million in the city of Guelph, there's about 4 months of inventory on the market, which is actually pretty low for that price point. So it's a pretty good market for the million plus right now. This information is really important for people when they're thinking about selling and pricing your house. For example, if your house is valued around that $600,000 mark, right now you are a lot better to price it at $599 than you are to price it at $609. Because that extra $10,000 takes you from a really strong seller's market into almost a balanced market where there's a lot more competition. And vice versa, if your house is listed around that or valued around that $800,000 price point, you may actually be better to list it in the low 800s than to list it at that $799 cutoff. Again, because the $800,000 to $900,000 market is performing really, really well. Now, having said that, if you are going to bump yourself up into a higher price bracket, you still need to make sure that you're good value compared to what else is listed in that price point. Overall, when we look at the market, we're in a really good market. It's not the craziness that we saw last year, but it's healthy and it's a lot more stable. And I know I said this last month, but there's some great opportunities for people right now in this market. If you're looking to upsize, this is the perfect time to do it. You can sell your house under that $600,000 in a really active price point, and then buy something over that where there's a lot more inventory and it's not as quick moving. Now, if you're thinking of doing the opposite, and you're thinking of selling your more expensive house and buying in a lower price point that's a lot more active, you are much safer right now to sell your house first with a long closing than to buy something firm and hope that your house sells in time. If you have any questions about the real estate market, please comment below and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks and have a great day.